Hi guys, welcome back. I'm creating some friends for the gnomes out of air dry clay. They're pretty simple to make, starting with a tiny worm. Roll out a clay snake and bend it into position. You don't really need any fancy tools, just whatever you found around the house and some water to help you smooth away any uneven bits or fingerprints. Air dry clay takes 24 to 48 hours to dry once you're finished sculpting with it. I like to keep my unused clay in a Ziploc bag with the air squeezed out and I store it in the fridge. I've had clay last more than a year this way. Making miniatures, you only ever use a small amount of clay, so this is a great way to store it and save waste. I popped my sculpted pieces onto a spare piece of card so they were easy to carry somewhere safe to dry later on. Next up is a snail. You want 2 pieces of clay, one to make the coil for the shell and one to make the body or foot of the snail. I was pretty immersed in the sculpting process and didn't realise I was working off camera so much, but to make the shell I just rolled a snake and coiled it up. Now for the body, I make a short fat snake. You want him to be a thick boy. He needs to have a rounded head and a slight point at the tail end. Use whatever tool you have, or your fingers, to flatten out the very bottom side edges. You want those ripply, wavy edges. Attach the shell to the back of the snail body. If it's not sticking well, just use a tiny amount of water on your fingertip to moisten both surfaces. This clay was nice and sticky. Fine-tune any details you want. See, I'm using both tools and water on my fingertips. I used a couple of scrap pieces of paper-covered floral wire for the eye stalks. I poked them into the snail's head and they've stayed in place just fine. But if you want the extra insurance, you can always use some tacky glue even while the clay is still wet. This is what they look like so far. Let's leave them to dry for a couple of days. Now they're dry, I'm going to give them a very light sanding with fine sandpaper. Be gentle while sanding at this stage. The clay is not fully hardened yet and it is easy to accidentally damage them. The clay does get harder and stronger with time. Now it's time to paint. Remember, all the materials I used in this video are listed below in the description. I believe it was Cara from Cara Creations who suggested a tiny worm for my spun cotton birds. I'll leave the links to both Cara's channel and the spun cotton bird video in the description below. Thanks for the suggestion, Cara. And now I'll stop rambling for a bit and let you all enjoy the painting process. Now's the time for the final touches of colour. I'm applying tiny dots of brown with a piece of scrap wire. I'm actually surprised I didn't smudge any of the tiny dots of paint. I thought the worm was a tiny bit too vibrant in colour, so I'm trying to tone it down a bit with pale pink chalk pastel. To seal them, I gave them both a coat with Modpodge Dimensional Magic. You could also use diamond glaze or UV resin if you have them. All our snail needs now is his eyes. I trimmed the eye stalks to the right length and I used Tacky glue to glue a tiny copper seed bead on the end of each stalk. They're all done and ready for when I decorate the outside of the gnome home. Let's take a look at the final result. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new uploads, and leave a comment because I'd love to hear from you. It really helps my channel to grow. If you want to share your own crafty ideas and projects, join my Facebook page called Nessie Monster Crafts. And we have Fun Day Fridays where we can all show off our latest works in progress. If you can afford it, please consider buying me a coffee. Links for both my Facebook group and coffee account are in the description below. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!